Good morning. My name is Woo Chan-chang, Country Director of KOICA Nigeria office. It is my great pleasure to host this meaningful event. Actually, this introduction session is aimed for assisting your effort because most of participants of today have interest for KOICA scholarship program. Some of you maybe do not have enough information about KOICA. KOICA is Korea International Cooperation Agency under the Korean government. KOICA in charge of Korean government official development aid to Nigeria. So this office in charge of development project assistance, and also we supporting capacity building program for Nigerian government officials. This scholarship program is in line with KOICA's effort to assist the capacity building of Nigerian government officials. So we are most welcome. As long as you have interest, we welcome your participation for this virtual meeting. As you know, because of COVID-19, before the COVID-19, we had this session in the open platform. I mean, we conduct like a face-to-face introductory session. But because of COVID-19 this year, we arranged this session through virtually. The merit of virtually, anyone can access to this platform and get information about our program. So as Ms. Mavis already introduced to you, we will share our information to you, how to apply for this KOICA's Master Scholarship program. There are 15 programs we are ready. The 15 program is very full of a variety of courses. Actually, among 15 scholarship program, there is agriculture, there is ICT, there is tax and trade, there is women, gender development, there is urban development, there is rural development. So the 15 courses is very diverse. So I think, according to your ministry and according to your interest and also your background and your career path, you can check and find out which program is most suitable for you. Because of the essence of this program, we supporting government of Nigeria. So KOICA office, we closely working with Ministry of Budget and National Planning of Nigerian federal government. So I think most of participants, you belong to your organization, ministry, department, or agency. So we will provide detailed information how to proceed your application procedure. But it is mandatory for you to nominate by your organization, and that nominee should be through Federal Ministry of Budget and National Planning, and officially your recommendation letter, official recommendation should be heading for Korean Embassy and CC to KOICA, because it is government to government bilateral development cooperation program. So I'm very pleased to hosting this event, and not only provide the procedure and every information for application, but also we invite the Mr. Orji Stephen. Actually, he is one of our participants who successfully complete his master degree program in Korea. He graduated Kyunghuk University, and he is professional on agriculture. So by sharing his experience, I think you can we can facilitate, we can help you to more understand the life in Korea and how to get used to new life and what kind of impression and what kind of challenge he faced during his stay in Korea. Usually our participants stay 1 year, but the period of time is different program by program. And definitely at the end of the session, we will open the floor for you. So anyone who have interest, but you have some question for, in terms of application, in terms of preparation of exam, so you can, raise your hand, and our official do our best to answer your questions. Fortunately, since 2019 and 2020 last year, Nigeria, in terms of the last number of person who successful to this master training program, the number is quite big compared to any other countries in the world. Last year, 15 Nigerian participants they got a ticket to heading for Korea. Actually, as you know, last year because of COVID-19, we had very challenging because Korean government also, like other government, the immigration policy was very strengthened. So actually, we select the 15 participants last year, but they cannot came to Korea last year. But fortunately, recently they all left for Korea successfully, and they landed in Korea, and they engaged in their scholarship. So this year, maybe we do not sure how much the impact of COVID-19 this year, but KOICA, we do our best to arrange these things, and we have a strong will to continue this program to provide opportunity for Nigerian government officials who have changed mind. I mean, to transform Nigeria more citizen-oriented, more transparent, more competitive government. So for that end, KOICA, on behalf of Korean government, we supporting this scholarship program for various sector and professionality. So this is my welcoming, speech to open this introductory session. And I'm, very glad to receive the representative of Ministry of Budget and National Planning for this morning. So I hope that he is on behalf of Nigerian government, is representing Nigerian government. So this program, KOICA and NBNP is joint delivery and implementation program. So I want to listen his congratulatory remarks on behalf of Nigerian government. Thank you.
Good morning once again. My name is Stephen Orji. I'm a KOICA alumni. Yes, sir. My name is Stephen Orji. As I said before, I participated in the KOICA scholarship program in 2019 to 2020. I work with Abuja Enterprise Agency. It's a ministry under the Federal Capital Territory Administration. I had a BA from my first degree in agricultural economics, second degree through KOICA in agricultural production. These are my expertise: agribusiness and SME development, farm management, virtually everything in agriculture. I have some expertise in it. Thank you so much. Next. Study in Korea through KOICA. I participated in a total of about nine courses. Actually, there are many choices for us to choose, so you have to choose the ones you like, and these are the courses that I chose when I was doing my program. Studying in Korea is very good because the standard of study of education in Korea is very, very good and also a world class. They have a clean environment and standard library, clean dormitory. Learning aids are so wonderful in Korea. Next. I was attached to the Department of Food Security and Agricultural Development in the Plant Genetics and Breeding Laboratory. In that department, in that lab, we breed soybean. We try to work on soybean improvement. As you all know, soybean is ranked first in world oil seed production. So, and consuming soybean with high level of oleic acid and linoleic acid helps to fight diseases in the body. So, in the laboratory, we try to improve soybean so that it can be very beneficial both for industrial use and also for food. Soybean is also found to be a very good food for those in the rural community where they have a high level of malnutrition, because soybean has almost the same level of protein, which also contained in animal protein, and it's very cheap. So can you also use it in place of animal protein that are so expensive? My topic of my thesis was the evaluation of agronomic traits and soybean and seed yield of soybean with altered fatty acid. Altered fatty acid are the soybean that breeders have tried to improve. They try to increase the quality of fatty acid in that soybean, because fatty acid determines the quality of soybean. So they try to alter it so that it can be useful both for industrial use, for manufacture of oil, and also for food because of the nutrients. So my objective was to evaluate the agronomic traits related with seed yield and to evaluate the seed composition, majorly the fatty acid concentration in soybean. Agronomic traits are like plant height, the seed size, the branches and all that. Next slide. Okay, my study methodology, I did a 2-year field experiment at the experimental field of the school, 경북 National University. So I planted soybean in 2019 and also in 2020. So in the field, the planting in the field helped me to get the agronomic data from the field, because you have to measure the plant height in the field, you have to measure the number of seed produced by one plant. All those things help us to find out about the yield of this plant. Some people can get maybe 1.9 tons per hectare, while some country can get up to 3 tons per hectare. So this study helped me to find out the yield of these crops. And also in the laboratory, I also work on the laboratory to also get the seed composition of the soybean. And also I did this with control cultivars. Control cultivars are the ones that are already existing. People are using it for food and so for so many other production. So I use them as a control to check how the breeding lines of the one I'm using to research on is doing, because you need to have a control when you're doing an experiment. Next slide.
Maybe just address them, so we'll start again.
What is the problem?
No, the slide.
They cannot see the presentation.
Yeah,
yes, that is. I think full screen is not working. So can we go to Zoom?
Okay, so good morning, participants. Sorry, we are having issues with the presentation, like you have all noted. So we'll try to restart the presentation again with the first slide. Please just bear with us. Thank you. Okay, so currently we have our screen shared. So kindly indicate if you see the screen clearly. You're on the first slide now. Just indicate and drop your comment in the chat box. Okay, so thank you. So we'll just quickly start from the first presentation and the first slide again. Okay.
Because the head here is just enough for doing the slide, just not synchronized. Yes. So you can just run. Okay.
Okay, so
Display?
Yeah, it's on.
But this one is this one.
The screen.
Screen is on. This one. This one should be same.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
You have pointer? You have pointer? So I'll say next slide and see.
Okay, so
is that okay?
yeah.
All right, good morning once again. Sorry for the technical issues. Like I said before, my name is Orji Stephen. I participated in KOICA scholarship last 2 years rather. I work with Abuja Interpart Agency. My first degree was in agricultural economics, second degree agricultural production through KOICA scholarship. This is my knowledge sharing. So I participated in a total of 9 courses during my period of study and my project work as well. You can actually select, depending on your school, actually, they give you options to select from a number of courses to do. So these are the numbers of courses I participated in during my study. Like I said before, Korea's education is also has a high standard and also is a world class. There's a lot of learning aids that can help you to learn as a student, and also their clean environment, the standard library, and also clean dormitory. I was in the Department of Food Security and Agricultural Development attached to the Plant Genetics and Breeding Laboratory. In that laboratory, we work on soybean improvement. As you all know, soybean is ranked first in the world oilseed production. Consuming soybean has a way of fighting diseases in the body. It also, we find out that soybean meal can also help to reduce hunger and malnutrition because of the level of protein in soybean. Also, it has the same amount of protein that can also be found in animal protein. Any kind of animal protein they can think of, soybean has same amount of protein, and also it's very cheap. So you can also use to fight malnutrition in countries suffering from malnutrition. The quality of soybean is determined by the presence of fatty acid composition. So fatty acid composition is what actually most breeders try to improve in soybean, because in the industrial use of soybean, they need soybean that has a high level of oleic acid. Yes. My thesis topic was evaluation of ergonomic traits and seed yield of soybean with altered fatty acids. Soybeans with altered fatty acid are like increasing the amount of oleic acid in soybean. The normal level of oleic acid in soybean is just 20%. Sometimes breeders increase it to up to 70, 80, and 85% just to give the industrial company, because to give meaning to the industrial use, because soybean with high level of oleic acid help to reduce what we call the sometimes you have some smell in many oil, because the soya, maybe the oleic acid content is very low. So when you increase the oleic acid content, the soybean, the oil tend to smell very good. My objective was to evaluate the ergonomic traits related with seed yield, and also to evaluate the seed composition, which is fatty acid. And this seed I'm using for my study has been improved by the laboratory, the plant genetics and breeding laboratory. So they improve the soybean and have a high oleic acid breeding lines, and also have high linoleic acid breeding lines. So I'll use this seed to test in the field and also in the laboratory about the seed yield and ergonomic, the seed composition. So my research was conducted at the field of the university. They have a large farm where we would conduct a field study, and also in the laboratory. I worked on I planted the seed over 2 seasons, 2019 and also in 2020. In 2019, I planted 23 of the high oleic acid and also 8 of the high linoleic acid, just to measure the seed yield. In seed yield, we take samples like the plant height, the number of seed, the number of branches. All those things, they help us to find out the seed yield. Because in seed yield is also very important. Because when you plant and you are getting 1.9, for example, 1.9 tons per hectare, some country will get 3 tons per hectare. So this study helps us to find out the yield of this plant. And this was done over 2 years to check consistency, to check how maybe environment also influences. Does the genotype influence? Does the environment influence? Does management also influence the yield and also the composition of this seed? That's what we tested over 2 planting seasons. And we use the control cultivar. Control cultivars are like already existing and licensed seed that people are using for food. So we use them as control to check how other breeding lines are doing. Next. So these are my management practices. In 2019, I planted on 1st and June, because in the Korea, planting season for soybean is between late May and early June. So in 2019, I planted on the 1st of June, the oleic acid cultivar breeding line. Also on 4th of June, I planted the linoleic acid breeding line. Then for the 2020, I planted 2 of them on 5th June. So the seed were planted by 4x4 rows of plots, and also there's a density of 2 seed per hill, and 70 meters between rows and 15 meters between plants. So we also have some other herbicide applications, and also irrigation was also done at when due. So these are data collection, because you have to also wait for maturity. You can see this, the picture there. The soybeans are so mature, and you see everything turns brown. So we did that in the field. We take the measurement of the plant height, count the number of seed, count the number of branch. Also, these are the data we take in the field, and this data help us to find out the yield of this soybean. They will also take 100 seed weight of the soybean to check the weight of this soybean. We also determine the seed yield when we go to the laboratory, and we do some calculations to get the seed yield. Then for seed composition, we have what we call the GC machine. GC machine is what we use next back. This machine is what we use to extract the oil from the soybean. When we extract the oil, we use it to analyze and find out the composition of this fatty acid profile. Fatty acid, we have the stearic acid, we have oleic acid, we have linoleic acid, and oleic acid. So these are the things we also find out in this to know which one is high in that soybean. Next. So after my experiment, these are my results. The first 2 table, the first 2 horizontal table, they are my result in 2019. You can see the first table, the last column, the seed yield, and 18 column 1 is oleic acid, and 18 column 3 is linoleic acid. So these are the results I achieved in my study. The one on green is the control cultivar. They are already existing soybean that are already, people are using it for food and also using it for manufacture of oil. Then the one I highlighted on black and yellow is the breeding line that I'm using for my study. So the ones I put on yellow, they were having similar results with the control cultivar. So all those ones they are in yellow, they are having similar results with the ones in green, which is the already existing cultivars. So meaning that these things can also be used as food because they are similar over 2 years, and I was obtaining good results, meaning that they are similar and can also be used as food. Next slide. So my results, this thing I highlighted on red, they are just the building lines. We can't give them a name now until they are being released. So there's no name. They just give them a code. Each plant breeder gives a code to identify the building lines. So these building lines, they performed just like the control I was using for my study. So both in the 2 years. So these are the results I obtained during my study. So this breeding line, they can also, with just a little improvement, they can be released as soybean that can be used for industrial production of oil and also for food. And we know that consuming soybean helps in fighting diseases in the body. My action plan, because of I attended the trainings on Semo-Odon training. Semo-Odon is one of the program in Korea that helped Korea to develop. Started in 1970, so I was opportune to attend the program. And this spirit here is a cooperation, diligence, and self-help. These are the three spirits of Semo-Odon that help them to develop. And already we are into several community development program in my place of work. So my plan is to introduce this Semo-Odon spirit into this project. But this project is also community-based project. Semo-Odon also uses staff from the community, staff from the rural community as well. So my plan is to try to introduce this Semo-Odon spirit into my organization, also partnering with KOICA, because I attended the program and I spoke with them at the Korean Semo-Odon Training Center, and they are willing to work with us. They are already in several countries of Africa, about 10 countries. They are already doing something with them in Semo-Odon at the grassroots. So I intend to work on this, develop a plan, and also invite KOICA for a meeting. I also want to set up a soybean farmers cooperative in the FCT. This is already on. We're also starting the process already because we have first meeting with the IIT about this partnership to see how we can develop soybean farmers cooperative in the FCT, and also try to advocate the consumption of soybean among the grassroots. So my general program experience. This is one of them. This is at the Semo-Odon training. The first picture is at the Semo-Odon Global Conference 2019. That was where I met Ban Ki-moon for the first time, and we took some pictures. And the second picture is at the training center of Semo-Odon. We had a 2-day training at Semo-Odon training center. So it was so educative and so enlightening. Next. This is during the COVID, the experience during the COVID-19. So there was so much panic, so much anxiety in everyone, and thank God we all come out of it. And the KOICA KNU in my school, they also tried to assist us. They gave us face masks, they gave us sanitizers for free, and a lot of things. They assist us in so many ways. So everyone in Korea, they try to also comply with the COVID-19 prevention protocols. And our dormitory was also being fumigated periodically at all times. We started online lectures when the school resumed. So we had to turn to online lectures, and nothing was stopped. We also felt together as if we were in the same class because we could see each other, we can talk, everyone can hear, we can hear ourselves. So it was normal. We just have to adjust with the issue of COVID-19. In Korea also, you can also practice any religion of your choice. There are religion, there are churches everywhere, there are mosques. Students also have their mosques and they pray together. You can practice any religion of your choice in Korea. Food, yeah, what I will miss in Korea is actually Korean food, because I ate a lot of Korean food. And they can eat so much. Everything, a table filled with so many types of food. You don't know the one to start with. So it was really, really interesting for me. And I visited a lot of places, a lot of cultural things and sightseeing. So it was wonderful visiting Korea and everywhere. I also participated in so many games, and we had a social event. I was the group leader of my group, so we had a program we called the Sixth Group Got Talent. So a lot of people perform drama, dance show. So I also play football, play competition. One competition, I was given 30,000 Korean won. I did some gymming. Also, when the lockdown started, I had to buy a personal gym. I was also using it in my room. So it was a good experience. Thank you so much. This is my...
I am Kalu, nduka, and I work with the National Broadcasting Commission as a monitoring officer. I attended Seoul National University, and my master's degree was in international studies, and I majored in international cooperations with focus on national development policy for African developing countries. My KOICA journey started in sometime in February 2019, when one morning I came to work and my boss was like, "Kalu, would you want to go to South Korea for your master's?" And I said, no, I don't want to go to Korea. And then when I went back home, I thought about it. I called her, I said, is it South Korea or North Korea? And she said it's actually South Korea. And then I researched about South Korea. And then I decided to give it a chance. And I actually was not really sure. I quickly submitted the applications, but I took it seriously after attending an introductory session like this by KOICA. So it was obvious that the intent letter that I submitted earlier won't qualify me. So I asked Mrs. Etta if I can actually resubmit another one. That's when I came up with something better. So I just want to encourage you, things to take seriously while applying for this program is your intent letter and your cover letter. A good cover letter and your academic grades will automatically qualify you for the second round of screening. Then transcript and apostille, you have to get your transcript right on time, and then interview session. Okay. Then these are my field trip experience. My program was actually on national development plans for policy for African developing countries. So I was exposed to different programs that helps in developing a country. Like this is a smart city that we went to in Korea, and we're all taught on how to develop a smart city. Okay. And then this is a field trip to Hyundai and Samsung. Okay. Next. And these are conferences on International Forum on Housing and Urban Finance and so many other things. And these are cultural experiences. Can you play this one for them? Yes, it's a short video. Yeah. So these are like what you will experience in Korea. This is what Korean culture looked like. You can skip actually. So this is Korean Cultural Day and Korean foods. Okay. So these are academic experience. I was opportune to work closely with world leaders or work professors. And this is one of the major challenges, learning another language, another alphabet. I worked so hard learning Korean language. Yeah, okay, next. So this teamwork, we're grouped in a team to evaluate our national development plans in our respective countries. And this is, I didn't just go to Korea also to study. I made sure that I had experience, work experiences like, can you go up? Okay. Okay, so this is Nigeria mission in Korea. The Korean African Foundation. So these are like conferences they organize for African unions. So I try to participate in all these. So these are like volunteer works I did in Korea as well. And my thesis, my thesis was on critical assessment of farmer-header conflicts, effects and implications on southern Kaduna in Nigeria. So my statement of the problem is, the main thing is to evaluate the multiplier effects of conflict on a fragile economy and the unity of the Nigerian state as conflict persists, especially in a monolithic economy. So as we all know, the Nigerian economy has long been dependent on crude oil, and the federal government came up with ERGP, Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, making agriculture its number one revenue way of generating funds for the economy. But then the farmer-header conflict has really been hindering this, and that's one of the things that motivated me to write on this topic anyway. Statement of the problem. For instance, in more than 100 farm communities in Benue State and Kaduna State have been affected. Nigeria has lost up to $10 billion in annual export opportunity from food productions. You know that people are not coming in to invest in Nigeria because of the insecurity issues we are having. So there is a need to actually solve this problem and end this whole farmer-header conflict. Okay, next. So motivation of the research is the indiscreet killing and death toll. It was so alarming. As of from 2017 to 2020, about 654 attacks have occurred, claiming about 2,539 lives in the country. 715 of these deaths occurred in Southern Kaduna. That was the reason why I chose Southern Kaduna. I focused on it. Okay, next. Research objective. These are my research questions. It's to find if there have been any existing relationship between farmers and herders in Southern Kaduna, the fundamental causes of conflict between the indigenous people of Southern Kaduna and the Fulani herdsmen, and when it escalated, the nature of the conflict. So these are the things I wanted to find out about it. Okay, next. Significance of the study. The findings from the study will be significant for peace building and conflict resolution strategies, and also serve as a guide to policymakers. Okay. Next. So this is my research design. My theoretical framework is anchored on two popular theories, social identity theory and realistic conflict theory. Realistic conflict theory explains how intergroup conflict arises when there is competition over limited resources. Okay, next. And social identity theory is a highly influential theory that explains group processes, intergroup relations, and also our thinking in group mediated occurrences. And it has a lot to do with in-group favoritism. So these are the theories I use to evaluate and interrogate this research. Okay, next. So, next slide. So my conceptual framework, it provides a clear description of the research strategy that is used for the examination of the escalation and spread of the farmer-header conflict using Southern Kaduna as a case study. The theories mentioned in the above was tied around the theoretical framework to analyze and interrogate the situation of farmer-header conflict in Southern Kaduna. So this is still part of the methodology. These are my independent variables and my dependent variables. So population explosions, land dispute, ethnic, religious differences, limited land resources, killing of stray cattle are the things that leads to scarce resources, trespass of farmlands, misunderstanding, and all those. They are the things that leads to violence and reprisal attacks, like loss of life. Next. So my findings, the study finds out that population explosion, land dispute, ethnic divides, all these that I've already mentioned earlier on, are the main causes and the drivers of the conflict. And I also left a gap for some other person to continue in this research. It's really broad and it's still ongoing. Next. And these are my recommendations. Kaduna State government have a lot to play in controlling these conflicts. Okay, next. So these are some popular quotes that I have to share as well. If you don't give people information, they make up something to fill the void. So this is what KOICA has already done, because I keep hearing a whole lot of people when they say, where are you studying? I'm like, I'm in Korea, and they're like, oh, you're in China. Apparently we don't understand, and Korean people don't like to be addressed as Chinese people. It's like calling a Nigerian a Ghanaian. so this is KOICA has created this platform for people to come, share knowledge, understand each other. So that's what I'm saying. Thank you, KOICA, for creating a platform that allows people to come together and share their culture, values, and their perception of others. Programs like these helps us understand how far the concept of soft power can go in keeping the world peace. Another thing I took back from my department to this place is think globally and act regionally. So it simply means internalize global cultures and implement them regionally. If you eventually make it to Korea, make sure that try to learn whatever you can learn and bring it back to Nigeria. This is simply how Korea developed. After the war, the Korean War, South Korea was actually like Nigeria. They begged for food, but with the help of them, when Americans came to give them aid, President Park actually told them, please, one of the things you will do for us is for you to train our people in your best universities. And they did. About 76 people went from Korea, and about 74 came back, and they helped in building Korea. Now this is what Korea is trying to do for us. If we go there, let's try to learn everything we can and come back and implement it here. Thank you. Kamsahamnida.